Donald Trump has issued what he called a last warning to Hamas to release all remaining Israeli captives in Gaza. Writing on social media, the US president warned Palestinians in Gaza with death if they continue to hold captives. His post comes as US officials confirmed they're holding direct talks with Hamas.
When it comes to the negotiations that you're referring to, first of all, the special envoy who's engaged in those negotiations does have the authority to talk to anyone. Israel was consulted on this matter. And look, dialogue and talking to people around the world to do what's in the best interest of the American people is something that the president has proven is what he believes is good faith effort to do what's right for the American people.
Is it just about the hostages, or are they also talking about the president's plan to take over Gaza?
These are ongoing talks and discussions. I am not going to detail them here. There are American lives at stake. I would defer you to the Department of State for further details, but I'm not going to get into those talks here.
Heidi Castro joins us from Washington, D.C. to talk more on this. So, Heidi, how should we describe these comments on Truth Social? Do they amount to a warning or a threat to Hamas or the people of Gaza also?
Well, Neve, I would say this is a very emotional side of Trump. He appears to be just livid in this long post on Truth Social, in which he does issue this ultimatum, essentially commanding Hamas to, quote, release all of the hostages now or there will be hell to pay. And I'll just skip through to some of the parts. He says that sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job is what the U.S. will do, and that not a single Hamas will be safe, quote, if you don't do as I say and release the hostages, saying this is your last warning. Then he tells the leaders of Hamas that it is time to leave Gaza. And then he talks to the people of Gaza, and it appears to insinuate that they are also holding the captives, saying a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you're dead. Those are the words of the American president. So certainly very startling words. And this follows after Trump met in the White House with 8 released captives. And they urged Trump to continue working to release the remaining captives, which include a 21-year-old Israeli American who was serving in the Israeli military. But it's also notable to point out, Neve, that this isn't the first time that Trump has issued a so-called ultimatum to Hamas, because on February 10th, he threatened also similar language, all hell, he said, if Hamas didn't release hostages as had been scheduled that following weekend. Ultimately, Hamas did release those captives. But certainly this statement is laced with anger, with also with the belief that Trump has that he alone is able to command Hamas to release the captives.
And Heidi, this angry warning, this angry threat coming at a time in which the US has now officially confirmed it's conducting direct talks with Hamas amid all the ceasefire uncertainty.
Yeah, which is breaking with long-standing U.S. policy to not engage directly with any group that the government designates as terrorists, which is Hamas. But yes, the White House confirmed that Trump's special envoy for hostage affairs, Adam Bowler, is in Qatar conducting these previously unknown talks with Hamas without an intermediary. And she says that Israel was consulted on the matter, but it is undeniable that this is a very sensitive time in these negotiations where the ceasefire is on the line, the next phase of the ceasefire. And the U.S. is speaking directly with Hamas, does sidestep Israel in those negotiations. Exactly what they encompass, we weren't told. But certainly this is going to play out with yet another wild card.
Yeah, departure from previous ways of conducting talks by the new U.S. administration. Heidi Castro in Washington, D.C., many thanks for that.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.